Is Georgia set to become another Ukraine? This worrying question might be laid to rest for a while, as Georgia's ruling party has said it will withdraw a controversial draft law in the face of mass protests and widespread international criticism. Protesters in Georgia, a transcontinental country at the intersection of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, have been clashing with the police on the streets after ruling party lawmakers approved the draft law on foreign agents in its first reading. Clashes ensued with the police using tear gas and water cannon against the demonstrators. The law, backed by the ruling Georgian Dream party, would require any organizations receiving more than 20% of their funding from overseas to register as foreign agents or face substantial fines. Critics have said it is reminiscent of a 2012 law in Russia that has since been used to crack down on dissent. Georgian president, who wants to veto the law if it crosses her desk, said she was on the side of the protesters. Let's understand what is this foreign agent law. Under the bill, non-government groups and media would be targeted if they take over 20% of funding from abroad. This law would require some organizations receiving this funding, foreign funding, to register as foreign agents. The first bill would require non-governmental organizations as well as print, online and broadcast media to register as foreign agents if they receive 20% or more of their annual income from foreign sources. Those who do not comply will face fines of $9,600. The second bill broadens the definition of agents of foreign influence to include individuals, and penalties for non-compliance ranges from fines to up to 5 years in prison. More than 60 civil society organizations and media outlets have said they will not comply with the bill if it is signed into a law. Georgian authorities have faced mounting international criticism over a perceived backsliding on democracy, seriously damaging Georgia's ties with the European Union. Georgian Prime Minister has defended his what he calls a balanced policy as aimed at ensuring peace and stability. Concern is growing that the nation whose masses aspire to join the EU and NATO is taking an authoritarian turn and being bent to the ruling party's will. Massive crowds gathered in front of the Parliament building, holding EU and Georgian flags and chanting "No to the Russian law." The protesters are demanding authorities drop the bill completely, and it seems right now the authorities have bent under pressure. The critics say that the law mirrors a law used in Russia to force media and dissenting groups to shut down. In Russia, the Kremlin has extensively used the foreign agent label against opponents, journalists, and human rights activists accused of leading foreign-funded political activities. The Georgian police fired water cannons and tear gas at thousands of protesters and ordered them to disperse as they rallied against this law. Russia is viewed as an enemy by many Georgians after Moscow backed separatists in the breakaway Georgian regions in the 1990s. Hundreds of thousands of Georgians remain internally displaced within the country after several bouts of bloody ethnic conflict. In fact, Russia and Georgia fought a 5-day war in 2008. The United States was also closely following the developments in Georgia, and the State Department spokesperson told reporters that it was a dark day for Georgia's democracy the day the bill was passed. Georgia applied for EU membership together with Ukraine and Moldova days after the Russia's invasion in February last year. In June, EU leaders granted formal candidate status to the other two nations but said Georgia must implement a number of reforms first. Plans to join NATO and the EU are enshrined in Georgia's constitution and are supported by at least 80% of the population, according to the opinion polls. And now the clashes over this bill have raised another concern for Georgia and its membership for the EU, if it wants it. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.